Broadcasting live from the Conqueror's Foothold on the plain of Ixalan, this is Tap Tap Concede. Welcome everybody, I'm Graham as usual, but I am joined by three totally new faces to this podcast, and we're thrilled to have them here. We finally got to do one of these with our guests from the pre-pre-release in town. We have, on my left, Noah Bradley.
It's me.
It's Noah Bradley. We have, on my right, Jeremy Noell.
Hello.
And on his right, it's Emma Handy.
Hi there.
And, well, I guess I'm trying to figure out, actually, we didn't discuss this beforehand, if you should talk about who all you are before we do the Crack-a-Pack. Sure, let's do that. Who the hell are you?
God, no.
Who's that bald guy?
Bald guy.
Yeah, who's the bald guy? That
Right.
was the one Twitch comment. I'm Noah Bradley. I'm that guy on Reddit all the time.
You are active on the subreddit.
Yeah, they love me. It's where I go when I need my ego stroke, and they always do it.
I think being active is part of, like,
Thanks. Yeah.
well, I think that's part of it. There's very few Magic artists that are sort of that engaging on on social media platforms.
And I give them a lot of shit for not being active. So they're too busy like working, and I'm not. So that's why I'm on Reddit. And it's great. So yeah, I paint Magic cards and stuff. Yeah, they're pretty good. There's some pretty cool ones.
His name on Reddit is the Noah Bradley.
Yeah, I don't actually know who did that, but thank you.
Yeah, because it's actually Noah Bradley, and somebody tagged it.
Somebody added that onto it, and I don't know who that is. But thank you.
I assume one of the subreddit mods.
Yeah, they did, but I don't know which one. They never like took credit for it. They were never like, hey, that was me.
Yeah. Fair enough. Oh yes, right. That's New Horizons. That's your.
There's my kind of sort of playable limited card.
Spoilers for we're recording this on the Friday, and the pre-release is tomorrow. I am running this in my pool.
You know what else is happening?
What?
I'm running it.
Hey, nice. We were joking about imposing some sort of stipulation on you that you had to run
and
all of the cards that you illustrated.
Yeah.
And
all of the card?
It was this
all
one.
of the card.
That's the only card.
Did not in fact open a Jace, so I cannot make any illusion tokens. So
Yeah.
New Horizons it is.
Right, because you for Ixalan you illustrated New Horizons.
Yep.
And the Jace illusion token.
Not Jace.
But not Jace.
Not Jace. Token.
That's unusual because usually they have the same artist do both parts of the.
No, because he was doing better cards. So so that's how it works here. So when you need a bad card, you give it to me. Yeah.
You've done good cards and Strionic Resonator.
I did anger the
You have the New Horizon canopy.
Yeah, New Horizon.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, that's true.
I have Horizon Canopy,
like the
so I'm going to retire now.
Fair enough. Jeremy.
Who are you?
Please introduce yourself.
My name is Jeremy Noell. I work for Star City Games, and you might have seen me on Commander Versus or on our daily news program, Split Second. I have been in charge of our video production for about 6 years now, so everything that goes on our Twitch page or our YouTube page, I've probably had a hand in at some point.
And so we thought that if we brought you here, then we wouldn't have to compete viewers-wise against Star City. But somehow they're still broadcasting a Star City Open tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's not. This is not actually a problem. This is a joke. To be clear,
Little Dickens.
I have less to do with it was one of those where I started off about 6 years ago, and I came in and they handed me a actual cardboard box full of cameras and said, "Here, go make our broadcast on." It wasn't even Twitch at that point; it was Justin.tv still.
Oh boy.
Yeah, and they were like, "Go make our broadcast," and I was like, "Okay," and I went and did it, and then I just kept working harder and harder to the point where now I just have people go for me.
Did they find like a box of cameras like at a garage sale, or?
It was just kind of one of those where they bought a few and they were like, "We don't know how to transport these, so here's like," it was a case box or something, and it was like 3 cameras, and it's like, "Here you go." I'm like, all right.
Can I get some foam?
Yeah,
or something.
It took a little bit, but I was like, all right, we're gonna get some cases. We're gonna get this. It's just well worth it. And so I've just been building up the whole system. So all of our SCG tour stuff, if you see anything, you can yell at me about it. It's probably my fault.
Fair enough. And Emma, introduce yourself.
I do all kinds of Magic content. I stream. My day job or what have you is I coach people in Magic over Skype or Discord and sort of lessons, basically. I write for Star City Games. And that's most of what I do. Everything supplemental you can think of that there is for Magic, that is me.
Sweet. All right. And I forgot to mention the sponsors or whatever at the top of the show. We'll do it at the end. Okay, so we're going to start by doing the crack a pack, as is tradition, and then we're going to talk about whatever, because we haven't really planned it. All right, who wants to roll the giant d20 of power?
Dibs.
Go for it. Just chuck it.
Oh, God.
We'll figure out. Nope. One more time.
Your turn.
On the table. On the table. On the table. Oh. Oh. Wait, what does that mean?
9. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's Scars of Mirrodin.
Oh.
Alrighty. It's more recent than we've been hitting recently. This was from Ionis. Thank you so much. I believe this arrived in a mail time package, so thank you for that. And let's see. Boy, this is actually a particularly difficult one. I've never done this before.
We're all here for
Open
you.
a pack of Magic the Gathering.
Here's a pack opener.
Wait,
Professional
wait,
pack
wait.
opener.
There you got it.
I thought we got his pre-release though. Pack opener.
Alrighty. Oh yeah, Paul, we have the card recognizer going. Where is that on here?
If you just do it anywhere sort of onto your right-hand side.
Just like here?
That.
Magic.
Hey, there we
Should
go.
work.
Oh wow.
Grasp.
Great.
Mystical.
good.
All right. Grasp of Darkness. Black instant. Target creature gets -4/-4 until end of turn. Boy, that's efficient.
Seems good.
That is super efficient.
Card's great.
I have one of those for tomorrow.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
kidding, right? This was reprinted recently,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
Oath
Yeah.
of the Gateway.
It was an Oath. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah. I was actually surprised to see it there. I was like, this is
Good card.
really good
It's a good
for
card.
this comparatively to
Yeah.
like.
Card kills a lot of 5-mana creatures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the other one that was more recent? Flatten? Something.
Yeah, Flatten was 4
Yeah.
mana.
It's
It
4
was
mana, but it
3 and a
was-
black.
Yeah.
So this is way better.
Yeah.
It's fine.
It's pretty good.
Next up, Sunspear Shikari is a 2/2 for 1 and a white cat soldier. As long as Sunspear Shikari is equipped, it has first strike and lifelink. Because there's a thing with the Mirrodin cats that they all
The Leonin.
yes, they all care about equipment.
Yep. It's very good in the Cats with Hats commander deck.
Cats with hats.
Cats with hats, yeah. There's cats, and then they put hats on them, and you attack with them.
What are the like? Are they
Equipment.
are they specifically headgear or are they like swords or?
They're like, it's just whatever equipment happened to be when equipment was a thing. You just attach the hats to the cats. And we actually did an episode of Commander Versus where Justin Parnell did a Cats with Hats deck and put penny sleeves on all his cards and drew hats on each one of the cats individually,
Alright.
and then played the whole deck like that.
That seems like a lot of work.
It was a lot of work, but we are
Dedication.
dedicated
Yeah,
to our show.
No kidding. And yeah, I mean, it's 2/2 for 2, so
Yeah.
it's fine. And then yeah, it can potentially get way better. Was there? Did you play during Scars?
No.
No.
No. Wait, when was Scars?
Scars was
ago.
Scars was just when
2009.
it was just when we started playing.
No.
Oh, 9.
It was the Scars of Mirrodin was the first new set that came out when we got back into Magic.
No, that was
2010
That was a
then?
couple years before I
Yeah.
started painting for Magic.
Yeah.
It would have been 2010. I think.
2010?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I started painting for Magic in 2011.
Right.
Yeah,
What was
it
your-
was
what
right
was your
after
first card?
M11.
They gave me a set of basics for M13. The first ones that got shown were the online cards, though, that I did Moat, Volcanic, Island, and Plateau.
Oh, the online exclusive
Yeah.
artwork.
Those were done
Not
after
bad.
the basics, but those went up first. And that was before I knew much about the game
Yeah.
and didn't know that I was painting like
Some
Those-
particular
Those-
iconic
Yeah,
cards.
yeah.
Yeah.
So they just gave some like newbie artist like these great cards, but didn't really mention that they were like, oh, these are really important. You shouldn't
Yeah.
screw these up.
Yeah.
Thankfully I didn't, but
I mean, I vividly remember the moat. And,
Yeah, the moat's really
and it
good.
looks amazing.
it's
Yeah.
a little bit better than the old art,
A little bit.
as in this much.
The old art is.
Gauntlet Throne.
The old art is god awful.
Yeah.
It depicts the exact opposite of what the card does, which is great because it's a guy like just prancing across the moat.
Yeah.
Like the moat's not doing anything. The
Yeah.
bridge is down. Like
Yeah.
he's just going across it. He is attacking. The ground creature is
Yeah,
attacking. Look
right
at
there.
him. He's just cruising.
They're like, oh, moat. Okay, I
What?
will draw.
No, that
I'll
is
draw a moat.
that isn't even like a moat. That isn't even like a drawbridge. That thing's like staying down.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
fine. It's always there. You can always go in straight in.
Also, the
It's
flavor.
what a terrible moat.
The flavor text of the original moat, which I've never read before. The purpose of any moat is to impede attack. Some are filled with water, some with thistles, some are filled with things best left unseen. Sounds way more imposing than the image, which is just
Yeah.
a sort of like idyllic medieval town.
Yeah.
Yeah, this just looks kind of like a horse going to the baker or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have the other moat handy, Paul, for those watching the video version? Yeah,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, right? Yeah,
look at
crossing that moat.
Yeah, that is.
That moat will Fuck you up.
Same flavor text,
Yeah.
though, but it fits more now.
It kind of makes sense now.
Yeah.
Do you see a lot of ground creatures attacking?
No, I don't.
No.
They're
getting
not
anywhere
going
near
to
that
Baker
thing.
Are those
anytime soon.
scale people at the front?
Yeah, those are scale people and scale flags.
Scale
That's
flags,
a
yeah.
big.
It's a
That's a big castle.
Massive castle.
big ass castle.
Yeah. There isn't even. Oh, there is a drawbridge.
Yeah, there is.
Okay.
It's
See,
just
that
kinda-
whole thing
it's
is like the
gigantic.
drawbridge.
It's a
Yeah.
big bridge too.
Big old bridge.
All right.
Yeah.
What are we doing? Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Stars of Mirrodin.
We're doing an art view of stars.
Volkov Replica is 3/1 for 3 artifact creature Berserker.
Nice.
I've only just noticed that
Yeah.
that subtype is Berserker.
That's awesome.
And for 1 red and sacrifice it, it deals 3 damage to target player.
I liked this one during that limited environment.
Wait, is this when damage was on the stack? Because
No.
then that
No.
becomes
It
kind
was-
of
it
good.
was
This is
after-
like a year later.
Yeah, M10 I think was when they first.
M10, yeah.
Because otherwise that would be kind of good.
No, it would have been really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but because of the
Yeah.
change, they could do stuff like
I think
that.
I never
Make
played
a lot
this
of
because it just traded for everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A 3/1
did.
for 3? Really?
Bad against the colors that can make tokens. but
Artifacts were
fine
important.
Otherwise.
Like having a critical mass of artifacts was sort of relevant. Yeah. Hey, it's Arrest. Arrest is great.
Yay.
2 and a white, enchantment creature. Sorry, creature enchantment, whatever. Enchant
Ah.
creature. Enchanted creature can't attack or block, and its activated abilities can't be activated.
Seems good.
And there's the new one from Ixalan is the same, but also they can't cast that spell again?
No.
No. There's
No,
2 different
you're-
ones. There's
no,
a
that's an
passive.
exile.
It's
It's
4
a
mana,
bloody
but you
ring.
gain 2 life is the
Yeah.
new one.
Is that the new
I'm
pacify?
confusing it with the new O-ring. Okay.
Yes,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
There's the other one, but they're both 4? Yeah, they're both
Yeah.
4.
The one
costed.
with Sad Jace from Ixalan is is O-ring.
Sad Jace.
And can't case.
Nurok Replica is one of the other ones. This one was much better,
Oh, yeah.
I think. It's a 1/4 artifact creature wizard for 3 mana. And for 1 blue and sacrifice it, you can bounce a creature to his owner's hand. So it could be yours, it could be theirs.
There were golem tokens this format, so
Oh,
this
no.
could both block
Okay,
golem
yeah, that's
tokens
relevant.
and kill them.
Yes.
That is
Big
relevant.
game.
Yeah,
Yep.
3/3 golems. Blister Grub.
Don't call
It's
me
a
that.
2. I'm so sorry. It's a 2/2 for 2 and a black with Swamp Walk, and when it dies, each opponent loses 2 life. I recall this being way better in Conspiracy. Was this in Conspiracy, or am I confusing it with something else?
I can't remember.
It's not great. Again, coming at this from a limited perspective, it's not great.
Really?
It's
Seems okay.
decidedly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was okay. Like the Swamp Walk wasn't super relevant. In
Oh, really?
limited.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
You're not excited to play it, but
Fair.
you will.
Yeah.
It's fair.
Also, the art's gross. Like, great, but gross.
But
Yeah.
It's okay.
White Sun's Passage is 1 and a white for an instant. You gain 5 life.
But pretty hard.
Yeah.
Go ahead and just.
But
Yeah.
usable card.
Terrible card, but yeah,
So,
John
Can we
Abel.
talk about the
John-
new Ixalan life gain that lets you draw a card?
Yes. Which one
It's
is
so
that again?
exciting. You gain like what, 4 life?
4
then you
life
draw a
and
card.
draw a card, yeah.
For the same
Yay.
cost.
I think it's 1 and a white, yeah.
Oh, that's way better.
Wait, no, it's
No,
a 4
wait.
drop.
Yeah, it's a 4 drop.
4
Never
gain,
mind.
is
4
it?
life,
Yeah.
draw a card.
Yeah. Yeah, as in it's not good.
It's
but
there
they,
have been
they
better.
keep trying. They keep trying.
Yeah.
And they'll get there one of these
I'll
days.
get there someday.
Maybe draw 2 cards?
This is like they shifted the perspective on Beacon of Immortality, and it's the same thing happening.
It might be,
Yeah,
honestly.
I don't know who did the art for
well,
that
Beacon
one.
wasn't Beacon of Immortality.
No. Who painted
Double
it?
your life, shuffle it back in your
But
deck out of
wasn't-
5th Dawn. Yeah.
Yeah, it was from the original Mirrodin block.
Yeah.
So this might
It
actually
might be a callback.
Could
yeah.
be.
Yeah.
They do things. Like
So
that.
you remember how I was just talking about how I didn't like running that 3/1 because it traded with lots of stuff in this
Yeah.
format?
Yeah.
Next up we have Scoria Elemental, which is a 4 and a red for a 6/1.
So you loved this, in other words.
I
This was
never,
your favorite.
never once saw this card resolved in limited.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's.
Well, it trades up, yeah, but you've spent 5 mana.
Yeah.
Hey,
Trades
it's,
way
it's a
down,
ball
too.
lightning
It trades
without the
way-
bad parts or the good parts. It's
Yeah,
okay.
it's,
It's
a
like-
ball lightning
it's-
without the parts.
It's like a creature that you can't attack with.
lightning.
So nice.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe if we give it in a quarters shield.
Oh, yeah.
does that do?
Quarter shield.
It's a 0 mana equipment,
Nice.
but it costs 3 to equip, and it gives the creature +0/+3 in vigilance.
staple in Cheerios decks everywhere.
So, right, Cheerios.
Yeah.
Right,
Because it's
because
a zero
everything is
cost.
mana. Right.
Yeah, equipment.
Well, so, okay, Scoria Elemental with a quarter shield, then it's a 6/4 vigilance that only cost you
8 mana and
8
2
mana.
8
cards.
mana, 2 cards.
This is
That's so nice.
almost like not be embarrassed to leave the house level creature here.
This one was fun.
What do we got?
Necrogen Scudder.
Yeah.
3/3 flying for 2 and a black.
Oh,
When
yeah.
Necrogen Scudder enters the battlefield, you lose 3 life.
Oh, yeah.
But
I
you
played
get
this
3
one
for 5.
I'd
several
play that.
times in the
Oh, I
Yeah,
would
this is
definitely play that.
one of my favorite cards in the format.
Yes.
Yeah.
Real
And
good.
one of my favorite Magic artists. In
Raymond.
In
Raymond.
Raymond's
Because
one.
whenever you want anything like
Whenever you want something pointy.
Yeah.
pointy and extreme, then
Yeah.
you hire Raymond.
You just like
'cause
hear a
that's what he
guitar
does.
screech.
There's
whenever you
been
look at the artwork.
there's been some
No.
a couple soft ones
Name
recently.
one without a spike.
Oh no, I
Zero
can't
spikes.
name one with 0 spikes.
0 spikes.
But there was one recently that I was like, oh, that looks kind of. Oh, Raymond Swan. Really, it's not nearly as pointy as it usually goes. Yeah. Infiltration Lens is next. It's a single mana for an equipment that also costs 1 to equip. Whenever equipped creature becomes blocked, you may draw 2 cards.
Wait, this seems great, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is like really good, right?
Yeah, it was
Like
actually.
I'm not
No,
wrong.
No?
it wasn't. A lot of people expected it to be really good.
Yeah.
There was a lot of hype for it when it first was like previewed and everything and going into the set, and people were super excited because it seems really good. And then people got a chance to play with it, and it's like, no.
It's
no,
really not
just,
good.
No,
Why is it not good?
that card says you have either an unblockable 2/2 or a 7/7 that can't connect.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter how many cards you draw, you already have your best card on the table.
It's fair.
So, like, it's
Fair.
fine, but if you
Fair.
didn't have to invest a card in it
Sure,
first,
sure.
But
Yeah.
if you had, like, a 3/2 with that ability,
Right.
it's
Oh,
fine.
absolutely.
But you have to have a creature and that, and
Yeah, that's fine.
you've spent an attack and 2 mana and a card to be up 1 card, and that's pretty steep.
It's reasonable.
Also, there's a lot of artifact removal.
Yes.
That's a super interesting card for that reason. Because
Yeah,
on the
oh,
face of it, it's just like, oh, this is busted. But
Yeah.
then the way you explain it there is like, oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Makes sense.
Huh. Alright. Riddle Me Smith. It's Riddlesmith. 1 and a blue for a 2/1 human artificer. Whenever you cast an artifact spell, you may draw a card. If you do, discard a card. Nice. Loot every time you cast an artifact.
Yeah, that's good.
If you get the quarter shield, you can do it for free. But yeah, no, Riddlesmith is great, especially in this format. And the rare. Do we have a foil? Oh, we do.
Ooh,
Okay,
we
so
have
the
a foil.
where do we
foil,
go?
do the
We'll do the foil.
Do the foil.
It's a Stoic Rebuttal. It's cancel with upside.
This was another one that people were super excited about, and I think it saw a little bit of standard play.
Yeah,
didn't
it was
it?
Stoic Rebuttal is
Cargo.
better.
Cargo
Yeah.
a little
So
bit.
Yeah.
it's 1 blue, counter target spell. So it's literally cancel. Unless you have Metalcraft, in which case it's literally counterspell.
Counterspell, yeah.
Metalcraft being if you control 3 or more artifacts.
3 quarter shields, and
Perfect.
you're building a lotus petal.
Yeah.
You got counterspell for 3 cards on
We
them.
also got a mountain, one of those 3/3 golem tokens we were talking about, and the rare is blah, 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 True Conviction. How win more do you want it to be? 3
much.
white enchantment. It just sits there and
3 white.
sorry, 3 white. Pardon me, 6 mana total. It says creatures you control have double strike and lifelink.
This card is absurd and limited.
Oh,
It
yeah.
is.
I would totally play
This is the
this.
stuff where, like, I stand up and almost like dive to slam and pack one, pick one, just
Yeah.
so everyone knows.
It's also
Insane.
it's also like not a big part, but a lot of people run it in the cats with hats,
Yeah, I got
Style,
absolutely
commander decks.
destroyed by this in the
or like soldiers.
in the pre-release.
Oh yeah,
Just destroyed.
Yeah.
I mean, it's again like it is a little win more because they were already in a very good board position, but then it's like, oh no, I'm just dead forever.
Yeah, if it's remotely close, then the other person loses the game.
Yeah.
it was a little bit before this. But speaking of win more cards and pre-releases, I was playing in Rise of the Eldrazi.
Oh yeah.
And I was doing pretty well, like, sitting like 11, 12 life or something, and they were at like 7, and I was like, okay, I got this. Eldrazi Conscription, and I just kind of went,
Oh. Yeah.
yeah, I lose, I guess. And then next game, she was just like, Eldrazi Conscription again?
Can I just read that card? Can I just read that card for a second? Oh, I lose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus
Oh,
10,
would
plus
you,
10, trample Annihilator.
Good
too.
game of cards.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
Seems alright.
shake hands, sign the slip.
Can I have one of those tomorrow?
Yeah.
Yeah, just slip it into your Ixalan
One?
deck.
Yeah. See if anybody knows.
Just one.
I mean, like
I only need one.
Like nobody. Like I opened that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I opened one of those.
Oh,
sure.
It was,
Yeah.
it was in my pack.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Big crazy
I'm gonna buy one of
thing.
those
It was my
tomorrow.
promo form.
Yeah.
As a side note, sorry, I just I was looking up Raymond Swanland art. The top result was literally a guy falling onto a bit of spikes.
That's like a Judas Priest album
Spike.
cover,
Yeah,
right?
it's just like, metal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I
what
got with this card.
Wait,
got a lot
lost?
of work done with those
Wait,
Phyrexians.
you lost to Glorious End?
No, he cast Glorious End.
Oh, okay. That was fine.
Oh, so they got
Did
Glorious
you
End and you
lose?
lost?
It was
Or
yeah. It was
they lost?
it was like a commander versus and like the next turn I would have won against it was myself and John Suarez were left and I would have won and I was like, all right, untap, upkeep. He goes like, or upkeep. I was like, and then he just swung again and killed me.
So you didn't even get to draw?
No, during your upkeep and the
Turn is over.
Did they also lose though?
No. It's at the beginning of your next end step, and I was only at like 7.
No, but because it's at the beginning of your next end step, you lose. So did the person who cast Glorious End then
No,
lose?
but they have a turn.
No, because
Yeah.
he ended the turn on my turn.
Yeah.
And then it went to his turn.
Oh, it was down to just two.
It was just the two of us.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was just the two of us. I was at a pretty low life.
Filthy.
And I was like, all right, I might get this if this happens.
That's amazing.
And then he just, end your turn. It was really good.
So I just realized that we sort of oops into a good topic by this Scars of Mirrodin, because I mentioned that, and we've told the story of how we got into Magic multiple times, but Scars of Mirrodin was the first set that came out. It was deep into Shard's Zendikar standard when we started to play, and then this was the first like new set that came out. But I don't know anything about y'all Magic histories. We started talking a little bit about yours, because you went from, you said 2011, you started doing art for the game.
Yes.
And you didn't play it or understand the relevance of the cards you were doing.
No.
And then
no.
recently you've day 2 GPs.
Yeah.
So how did that progress? Like, when you started to do art for Magic, how aware of the game were you?
Like I knew how to play.
Yeah.
Like I knew how to play since I was a kid.
Oh, okay.
I grew up playing like card games, board games, and stuff like that with my brother.
Fly in here. How'd that happen? Anyway.
So yeah, I grew up with card games. My brother and I actually used to play the old Star Wars CCG. The good
yeah.
one.
Wait, the good one, which one? From Decipher?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The good one.
Yeah. Okay.
There was
another one?
a bunch of other ones. Yeah.
Technically.
I played
yeah.
I played the Star Wars and the Star Trek. CCG.
Okay, Star Trek was kind of janky, but
It,
Star Wars
it
was good.
definitely was. The Star Wars one was better. Yeah.
Star Wars was way better. It's a fantastic card game. So I was pretty used to like competitive card games and stuff like that, but just kind of stopped playing. And then about a year and a half ago, when Shadows came out, actually I'm going to give a shout out to you guys and get emotional moment here because actually my introduction to Magic was watching the first pre-release.
Oh, no way.
Because the Shadows pre-release was my first experience playing Magic, and so the week before, I watched you guys do your
that's so cool.
pre-release, and that was like Marshall's deck building was my first actual watching people like play Magic cards. And then,
I hit the mic. I'm sorry. That's so cool.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up at some point, so this is a good time. So it's kind of cool to be able to go from that like a year and a half ago to now I'm here. So I went from never playing, and then I realized that I needed a hobby desperately. All I did was art. When I took a break from doing art, I did a little bit more art.
Oh, I've done so much art today.
And then I did a little
Just
bit more
calm down
art.
by doing
And
some
then I
art.
thought about art, and I looked at art, and then all my friends were artists.
Yeah.
And I realized I needed a hobby real bad. And I needed an excuse to get out of my house. And Magic. Magic was my excuse. I also needed an excuse to beat people at things. Art is very touchy-feely, and everyone's friends, and it's great, and it's wonderful, but I also want to like pummel people occasionally.
Yeah.
And Magic gives me an opportunity to do that.
You can certainly consider your art to be better than someone else's art, but
but
you can't be like, I won at the art.
Yeah, you can't win. So at Magic I can win, which feels good. So then once I started playing, I went from playing a little bit to playing a whole lot, and then now I just play a ton. And
they actually at a recent, was it a CFB Grand Prix?
wait, Star City.
Oh, it was both of ours.
It was Baltimore.
I've done 2 Star City ones.
Where they set up a feature match
At his booth.
at your booth.
Because
Yeah.
he was still working.
Yes.
And I for the last couple of years, I've been doing artist liaison was part of my jobs when I go to SCG run GPs, and so it's just hilarious because we actually had to put like a sign up that says, yes, this is a real match of Magic. Please do not disturb them.
Yeah.
And he'd just like build at his table while, all of his prints are out and everything.
Right.
And
Yeah,
people would
great.
come over. And during the second one, I think you actually figured out that like if you put dividers up,
Yeah.
people would stop like coming up to the sides and asking you questions
I
and
needed
stuff.
to like hide in there because
Yeah.
people
And
kept
then-
trying to get like signatures
What-
during.
When whoever you're paired against goes to look at their pairings, what
Yeah.
table number?
For most of it, they gave me like a fixed seat, so there was a fixed table number, and when you go to that table number, there's a little sign that says Noah Bradley is your opponent, and he's over in
okay,
the artist
yeah.
section. Go over
Okay,
to the
cool.
artist section,
and then
you'll find him.
they gave him like a
And usually, like
Right.
a judge would be there to be like, I know you're confused. We're gonna get through this.
This is
and
weird,
This is
but-
your opponent over here.
That's so cool.
But it was a
Everyone goes
blast.
through
I actually
this.
I get to do it again soon. I'm gonna be playing in Liverpool, and they're gonna do the same deal for me
that's
there.
awesome.
So,
That's cool. Yeah.
it's just a blast.
And both day twos that he got to as well, he was like, "Can I just draft here?" I'm like, "No,
Yeah, they
sorry,
would
we're,
not let me draft
we're
at my
a little bit
artist
higher
table."
REL. Sorry,
Yeah,
you gotta
yeah.
go to the table." And
Yeah, I actually had to go like leave my table. It's so sad.
It's a rough life.
I know, right? I'm like,
I don't want to date you at GP.
like I have to leave.
oh, man, but I get to draft for free.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, Jeremy, what's your origin story?
So in high school, I mainly did like video games. Started playing D&D when I was like a junior.
This all sounds deeply familiar.
Yeah, exactly. And then my senior year, right before we were going to go on our senior class trip, which I'm originally from Michigan, and our senior class trip was going to be going to Cedar Point, which is in northern Ohio. And so the bus was leaving at like 4:30 or 5 in the morning. So we're all like, hey, let's all just go hang out at our one friend's house. And he was like, oh, my older brother has this box of Magic cards. Like, okay, cool. Open it up, try and figure it out. He explained the rules to us, obviously very poorly.
Right.
And we all played incorrectly, and I was like drawn to, oh, look, this giant card called Crawworm, and I can make, elves that make more mana, and I can get them out quicker. And so played like each of us played like a mono-colored deck.
Right.
And we ended up playing the entire night until the bus came.
Oh, no.
Went to the bus, played on the bus, got to Cedar Point, and instead of going on roller coasters very often, we just played Magic in the park,
Wow.
like a bunch, and then slept on the way back home from there. And that was when we got into it. And then from there, I actually ended up working at Cedar Point that summer. Found an LGS. They kind of taught me how to actually play.
Right.
Got into it. Fell out. That was around Odyssey. Torment was when I first got in, and then fell out for a little while. Got back in around Morningstar was when I really started to pick up, and then about 6 years ago got hired by SCG and stopped playing competitively.
Right.
Because when you're going and watching Magic every single week and working with it, it gets to be very difficult to be able to actually get the practice in to be competitive.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it helps to not have a real job.
it does. Yeah.
A real job.
And Emma?
I've played card games basically as long as I can remember. I started out in Pokemon when I was really little. Was
Yeah.
one of the first people to build the No Energy Alakazam deck, if anyone knows what that is. It's a very, very old, like first 3 or 4 sets Pokemon weird
yeah.
competitive deck. But then went to Yu-Gi-Oh! And then went to Magic. And I started playing the first time in 2004. It was right after Dark Seal came out. I played my first FNM and lost to Skullclamp Affinity 4 rounds in a row. But I came from Yu-Gi-Oh! Where there's not mana, so I didn't understand why everything was busted. They just turn 4, they go, and Disciple of the Vault, you're dead. And I go, wow, what a good deck. I have so much to learn. And
Right around when we, just to briefly intercut, right around when we started playing, like I mentioned, was just before Scars came out. So I'd be like, yeah, I'm gonna go to FNM, and because Zendikar's out, and I got this thing with the, I can't remember what it was. It was like it was a rare. It was like a 6 mana 8/8 with trample or something, or it was just
Terra Stomper.
Yeah, thank you, Terra
Yeah.
Stomper. Yeah. And I was like, I got my big green Stompy deck. Let's go to FNM, and then sat down across some people playing, like Jace the Mind Sculptor,
Yeah.
and they were like, okay. Bounce that. And I'm like,
Roll
oh.
down.
Yeah.
Next turn, I'm like, I have nothing better to do than play
this
Terra Stomper
over
again.
again.
They're like, oh, okay. Bounce that. And I'm just like, this sucks.
Magic
Why does
sucks.
anyone play this game?
Yeah. Maybe that's why I prefer limited. I don't know. Anyway,
Oh, right.
but
fine.
you were saying, sorry.
No, you're fine. You're totally fine. I started playing competitively around New Phyrexia. I spent about 8 or 9 years just kind of being the person at FNA who plays mono green tree folk and the deck that just wants to Sculpting Steel Sun Droplet as many times as possible because, you know, the best offense is a good defense. But, and then about a year and a half ago, I was doing really well at Star City Games invitational qualifiers and PTQs, and about that level, I was at the point where I top 8'd about 3/4 of those that I entered and thought, you know, maybe I should try to do the Star City Open thing. And I've been traveling on the SCG tour for about a year and a half now. I think I've missed about half a dozen events in that time frame, and I don't very often top 8 in them, but I'm one of the more consistent people on the tour, and it's been enough to kind of launch me into the pro Magic lifestyle.
Cool. Sweet.
How about you, Graham?
Huh? Oh well, I mean, this is like I said, we've told, you know, like we've told the story before, but for me personally, played,
Yeah.
way back when started with Ice Age, and by started with Ice Age, I mean bought an Ice Age starter pack, which was the like, were they 60 or 100? The 60
There's
cards.
60 card starter packs.
Yeah, and was just like, oh, this is a deck, which it's not, by the way, because it's 5 colors.
Yeah.
But it's like, oh, I just take this and shuffle it together. Okay, sure. And it's like, boy, this is really inconsistent. But luckily, I didn't know the rules either, so it was
I don't even
a
get
complete.
to play the game every time. I don't.
Yeah, it was a complete mess. But yeah, started with that. Played around with it a little in those days. Again, more into the collecting aspect than the like playing aspect because I didn't really understand the rules. And I was saying actually beforehand that I invested in the wrong game because somebody sent us a price guide.
Yeah, price guide. Yeah.
From I don't know exactly what year, but it had Magic and Legend of the Five Rings and Spellfire and the Star Trek game. And according to this book, the prices at this time, Alpha Plateau was the most expensive dual land listed in the book, and it was between 18 and 20 bucks. Captain Picard, between 30 and 60. And so clearly at the time I was like, nice.
Yeah.
In the long run, I've invested in the wrong game because I still have a binder in a box full of the Star Trek cards somewhere.
Was that Scry magazine?
It wasn't Scry. I don't know what this was. This was some sort of like...
Inquest?
No, this was just like a price guide, the magazine. It was just, I've never seen this book. I've never seen it before. I did actually read Scry at the time, yeah.
Are you saying Captain Picard is not worth $30 to $60 now?
His value has not held with time. No.
You definitely picked the wrong game.
Yeah, back the wrong horse there. And then sort of stopped playing when everyone in the world stopped playing Magic. Right? Because within the peer group, this is before the internet connected everyone with similar interests, for better or for worse. And so, yeah, it was like me and my friend group stopped playing Magic. So obviously, Magic, the passing fad, everyone in the world had stopped playing Magic. That was a fun thing. Remember when we were kids? What's that? People still play it?
Yeah.
It's more popular now than it ever was. Really?
Well, I don't know anyone who plays it, so.
Yeah. And so, well, this was like, years later, we were like, really? It's more popular than that? Really? Huh, weird. But then we were just sort of heard that one day. And we're like, oh, that's kind of interesting. And then, yeah, we were at the Penny Arcade Expo in, let's see here, Scars 2010. So I guess that would have been the 2010 PAX Prime, or just PAX at that time. I think it was
East
before the
had just
expansion.
come out. 2010 was the first year.
Right.
So I think they called it Prime after East got the first one.
And they had those 30 card
Starter.
the
welcome
freebie decks,
yeah. And in the swag bags, and we were like, well, we got 45 minutes to kill waiting for this next panel. And it was literally like, this sounds so mean, but it was really like, oh yeah, Magic. Guys, remember Magic? Oh man, this will be so funny.
I bet they
and
think
just,
we're going to play with
open
these.
the packs up, and we were like, ha ha ha, look, Magic the Gathering. Oh, wait. Uh-oh. This is super good and fun.
Something in the back of your head is like, no, don't do it.
Yeah.
I had gotten out of Magic when I was like a sophomore in college, I think. I sold the cards that I had, and I bought Scrublands for $15 a piece.
Nice.
And then sold them a year later for
course.
$10 a piece or whatever it was.
No.
Yeah, and because I was like, yeah, I gotta sell all these, and so I got out of it sophomore year, and then most of my friends that played D&D were like slowly graduated, and I kind of stayed for graduate school and stuff. And one of my friends at where I was working was like, oh yeah, I used to play Magic too, and I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm really itching to play it. Let's go buy some packs and draft. And so we 4-player drafted, like whatever the set was at that point. I think it was Lorwyn at that point. And so we just drafted Lorwyn 4 players. And after that, I was like, yeah, I gotta get back into this game. Just like, this is too much fun.
Actually, this is so weird. Something that we haven't actually mentioned when telling that story is that like probably a year prior to that, our friend Morgan, who back in the day was more involved in day-to-day Loading Ready Run, he had gotten some Magic cards from someone, like his brother or somebody, and was like, check it out, guys, Magic. And we were like, no. And he'd been like, no, it's super fun. And we're like, shh, whatever, we're playing video games, don't care, goodbye. And we just like, we completely no-sold that he was like trying to sell us on this game.
Yeah.
And then like a year later, when all of us start playing, and he had then stopped because he had no one to play with. He was like, well, what the hell?
It wasn't vindicated. It was, come on, guys.
Yeah. Like, what the hell, man?
You got right in when I stopped playing.
I remember I had all my cards from when I had played when I was in like elementary school.
Right.
Like I had played with like revised and 4th edition and stuff. And so I had all my cards still in a box, and so when we started playing it, I dug them out and I was like, I'd try to remember if I actually had anything real good. And of course, the things that I thought were good, the things that I had a couple of like perfect sleeve, really nice heavy sleeves. And there was like, I think Grinning Totem was in there, which apparently was worth a bunch from Visions at the time. Whereas I did actually have a Scrubland that was just like in with everything else.
Bottom of the box, yeah.
It's a land.
Yeah, my Keldon Warlords were really high up there. I was like, yes, got my Keldon Warlords. They're awesome.
Yeah, Paul had a complete Kobold deck.
Yeah, I had a full set, the full set of Kobolds.
Kobolds of Carekeep.
Kobolds of Carekeep, the Crookshank Kobolds.
And Crimson Kobolds.
And the Crimson Kobolds, and along with the Drill Sergeant and Overlord and Taskmaster. All acquired at much, extensive research and money, and totally not good. Not at all. It never even worked as a deck back in the day.
Yeah.
It didn't even work when it was supposed to work, let alone
now.
I know that for when I like started back in, like when I first got into the game and started playing right after high school when I was working at Cedar Point, everybody kind of had their own way of doing their, like, carrying their entire collection, which ended up being like 100 cards at the time or whatever. And so it's like, oh, we'll put a rubber band around it, or we'll put a plastic bag or whatever. And I was like, man, I really need something because I've got way more of the cards than I used to, and I can't do a rubber band anymore. And I was looking, and I obviously before I knew about deck boxes or long boxes or anything, and I found a Burns-O-Matic handheld blowtorch box in our basement, and I was like, yeah, that'll work. It's just big enough. Stuff all my cards in there, take it to an LGS, and they're like, what the hell is this? I'm like, no, it's fine, guys. It holds all my cards. I've got way more than 100 cards.
I had a thing.
I love the idea of like now putting like an RDW deck in a blowtorch box.
Like a red cube or something.
I had a thing. It was sort of like a 3/4 sized briefcase with like, it looked like a leather briefcase, but it was like sort of vinyl with some sort of puffy filling and like these shitty latches. And it was for storing cassette tapes.
Oh, yeah.
So it had these like hard molded, but like flocked, so there was like kind of fuzzy plastic inserts with like spacers that you could put all the cassette tapes in, but it was just enough that you could do like 40 unsleeved cards. And I was like, oh, this will work. So I just had like just like 40 and 40 and 40 and 40. I'm like, yeah, sure. Yeah, this holds them well enough.
Obviously.
Why not? Yeah.
When I was in college, we also, speaking of tapes, we had, I worked in the broadcasting department. That's what I got my degree in. And so we were changing over a bunch of stuff, and they were throwing out old tape cases that didn't actually have the prongs for like to hold the reels. So they were just flat.
Right.
And I was like, okay, these are great. And like I opened it up and I was like, token, fits perfectly. All right, take as many of those as I can because we were just going to throw them out.
Nice.
And I used them for a long time for token holders, and I still have one that I use because it holds 3d6 across and like 5 lengthwise just perfectly.
Oh.
And so it's just got a bunch of 6-sided dice in it.
Nice.
Yeah, they're really, really useful for that. I'm sure they don't exist anymore.
Yeah. Let's do another Crack-A-Pack. Because that was
Did we have a good time with that?
yeah, that was fun to talk about.
Let's do that.
Yeah,
Let's do
you
that.
haven't had a chance
Lot
to.
of
So it doesn't have to
responsibility.
stay on the
7.
7. Okay, let's go from the start. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, hey,
What do we got?
Darksteel.
Darksteel. All right.
Nice.
When was Dark?
I'm really good at losing in this set. I remember it quite vividly, so.
This was given to us by Ray Power at GP Vegas.
Thanks, Ray.
Thank you, Ray.
Vegas was fun.
Vegas was a lot of
Vegas
fun.
was a lot of fun.
Vegas
yeah.
was too much fun, in fact.
I'm sorry.
No, it was good. What I remember was good.
Did you recover?
I think so. We got food drunk at GP Vegas.
Oh yeah, we went to
Bacchanal.
we went to
buffet.
Oh, yeah.
the buffet.
Which one did you guys do?
Caesar's Palace.
The
Oh, Caesar's
Bacchanal,
Palace
yeah.
one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was which was amazing.
It's a solid one.
I've never been to a buffet on that tier
Yeah.
before.
Yeah.
And yeah, we were just like sitting there after,
Seems
yeah, like you
lovely.
said, food drunk,
Yeah.
because we didn't pay the extra to get the unlimited alcohol.
Drinks,
Because we were
yeah.
like,
No,
no,
nobody needs that.
no, we want to
No,
eat.
no, no.
But still, we were like,
Yeah.
how did you do, guys? What
Yeah.
did you do later now?
Yeah, just after like 2 or 3 plates of like, it's all really good food.
Yeah.
And very rich. And even the small portions, you're just like, oh, that's fine. It's just a tiny little, so
dead
much
now.
food.
So yeah, more GP Vegas, please, I guess. All right, first up is the Kruk Clan Stoker. Kruk Clan Stoker. It's 2 and a red for a Goblin Shaman, 2/2, and you can tap and sacrifice an artifact to add red to your mana pool.
This is terrible, right?
It doesn't seem good.
Card's
Seems
fine.
terrible, right?
So this set
How many artifacts
had,
do I have? Chuck?
modular was a big theme in this set, so this was almost a combat trick.
Oh, because you can sacrifice an artifact creature with modular, which has plus
Okay.
+1 counters on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then when it dies, you get to move those counters to a different artifact creature.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so
so
there are
like,
like
there
some
was
janky
actually a
things.
benefit to
Okay.
sacrificing, and there are also all the red ogres. There are so many ogres in this block. So
Yeah.
there's like 7 mana 6/6 when it attacks destroy an artifact,
Right.
which is
Okay.
absurd, and
Yeah.
it was an uncommon.
Also, the name Kruk Clan sounds like what you would hear the Altered Beast voiceover.
Yeah, Kruk Clan. Didn't most of the Kruk Clan stuff involve sacrificing artifacts?
A lot of
Yeah.
it did, yeah. They,
Also, this weird thing for this block was that the mana symbols in the text boxes were
gray.
gray.
Yeah, it's
Gray?
they had just
Oh, they
switched
are
to the
gray.
card frame, and between so for 8th
Can you see the
Mirrodin,
little dot?
Darksteel, and 5th Dawn,
Yeah.
they're just nothing. And
Yeah,
then
really weird.
the next one was
Strange.
Unglued or Unhinged rather. I think
Yeah.
came between 5th Dawn and Champions. I think that's when they added the colored mana symbols.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Wasn't
really
it
weird.
a thing also in this set, or like around this time too, that because there were like artifacts and stuff that actually had mana symbols in the
Which was new.
text box, was like
Yeah.
brand new, and so
Yeah.
it was a new thing to add them to that.
And the artifacts, I recall,
the-
were
the
also
new-
very pale.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're almost like translucent.
Well, I mean,
Foils from original Mirrodin.
We'll see one in just a moment. Nurok Prodigy is next. Did I move this out of the,
Yeah, I think you got
the realm? There we go. It's a 2/1 human wizard for 2 and a blue with flying. And you can discard an artifact from your hand, and you may not discard an artifact from anywhere else to return Nurok Prodigy to its owner's hand. So 2/1 flying for 3? Sure. Limited? Fine. Right?
Decidedly, I guess.
Yeah.
It's decidedly, I guess.
Decided-
Sometimes you can discard artifact lands and get value out of it.
Oh, okay, yeah,
but
sure.
Other
Yeah,
than
yeah.
that,
So yeah, next up we have a piece of equipment. It's the Volkov Morningstar, and yeah, you see how pale the gray is on that?
Yeah.
They looked almost white in this set.
Yeah, because they had just switched when they switched the card frames too. They switched from the really dark brown, like marble color, to the gray for artifacts, and it was really pale at the time. Yeah.
2 mana equipment that also equips for 2, and the equipped creature gets +2/+2. 2/2/2/2/2/2.
I think this card's insane.
Yeah.
Absolutely bananas. You have like
Yeah.
you have like grizzly bears that now trade for 4 and 5 drop creatures, and if they trade with it, you just put it on another grizzly bear. And
Yeah. Seems good.
I never played much of this limited, but
No,
man,
this was when I was out.
that's some cool art too. Echoing Decay is next. 1 and a black instant. This is the echoing cycle that targeted a creature and all other creatures with the same name as that creature. And in this case, they all get -2/-2.
I play it.
Yeah. This seems. I mean,
Definitely
at worst, you get to kill one thing.
Yep.
Maybe you get lucky and you get to kill more than one thing.
Yep.
It blew me away when I was a kid and found out tokens had names.
Yeah.
So this would wipe all their tokens, but there's a green one that pumps them all and gives them all trample. So my first
Might?
courage.
Courage, yeah.
My first pauper deck was Sapperlings with Night Soil and Thaladin stuff, and I just go, well, I just attack you with 100 tokens, and then it's 300 damage. It's great. They're like, but what if you dealt 20? And I'm like, 300. It's great.
Yeah.
300 is more than 20.
Yeah.
Terran Ghost. It's a Terran Ghost. It's
Terran.
one and a white for a 1/1 flying spirit, and you can sacrifice it to regenerate target artifact. How relevant was regenerating your artifacts? Was it so relevant that you ran a 1/1 flyer
Maybe a
for
bomb
2?
artifact?
It's fine.
Maybe if you had a bomb?
It's not great.
Notably, this has not been oracled to be a dinosaur spirit,
Even though it is a Pteron.
even
Looks
though it's
like
a Pteron Ghost.
Yeah.
It looks like it's supposed to be a dragon spirit.
Yeah, but it's a
No,
Pteron.
I think it's a spirit dinosaur.
Yeah, but it's
I want a
but
spirit
they
dinosaur.
but they didn't change it.
Some
They
sweet
should.
flavor text
Someone
too. Defending
should.
to the death isn't always enough.
Jeez.
Sometimes you have to come
Oh,
back.
here we
Sad
go.
story for
Here's your
Pteron.
little
Oh.
modular starter.
Oh, here we go.
Arcbound
My
Worker.
man.
He's doing his thing.
So it's a 0/0 for 1, which seems bad.
I feel like I don't want to play
Just
that.
give it a second. This never
But
happens.
it has modular 1, which I'll just read the reminder text. This comes into play with a +1/+1 counter on it. When it's put into a graveyard, you may put its +1/+1 counter on target artifact creature. So modular, a creature would have modular X,
Yeah.
or N, or whatever. It would have modular number, and it entered the battlefield with that many counters. And then when it died, you could move them to a different creature. So this was like the bottom of your food chain,
Right.
basically.
Yeah.
Nice.
Um,
He's pretty sweet.
Mere Moon Vessel
Mirror.
as a 1/1 for 1. Mirror. When Mere Moon Vessel is put into a graveyard from play, add 1 generic mana to your mana, or I guess colorless, to your mana pool. That doesn't seem very good.
I feel like I don't ever
Oh,
want to
but
play this.
wait. If you sack Mere Moon Vessel to your Kruk Clan Stoker, you get 3 mana.
We're allowed to cuss on this show, right?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, this card is a shitter.
Okay.
This is.
Okay. It's real bad.
Cuss all you want, we do.
The Mirror were also like they were like the big tribe on
Right.
Mirror.
They're really cute.
Yeah,
They're,
and they came back with scars. And
they're
they-
mostly so cute.
yeah, mostly.
The mana mirror from
yes.
original Mirrodin block,
Silver
way
mirror.
better.
copper.
Way better
All those.
than
Yeah.
the art in the new ones. They were so cute in this set. Hunger of the Nim. 1 and a black for a sorcery. Target creature gets +1/+0 until end of turn for each artifact you control. Sorcery though.
The Nim were like the zombies of Mirror.
Yeah, they like 8 artifacts, or they got more powerful for how many artifacts you had. There was ones that just had this ability statically on them. There was one that was like Nim Lasher, I want to say, just got +1/+0 for every artifact you had. So this was like, hey, you can give that to another creature.
Anything, yeah.
This seems bad.
It's really good if
Oh.
you're in like a blue deck and an awful otherwise.
Cards they don't print anymore. Whisper Silk Cloak. 3 mana equipment. Equips for 2. Equipped creature is unblockable and has Shroud.
Yep. Before they renamed it Shroud.
Shroud is like hexproof, but even you can't do stuff to it.
You know
Can
what?
I use that tomorrow?
This card was
just
like
gonna-
the king of the
just
playground
Just gonna
when
play
I
a
started
dinosaur
playing.
and Shroud?
If you'd have Whisper Silk Cloak, you won the game.
Yeah.
Unblockable
Basically, but
Shroud
we would
dinosaur,
concede
go.
to that card when they had an empty board. We were just like, "You've turned 3 Cloak? No, I'm done.
it's
I'm
common.
gonna take my
Yeah.
90 card deck and leave."
It's been reprinted a couple of times in Commander product.
Yeah.
Recently too.
With actual Shroud rather
Yes.
than
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
and it has new
Can't be the
artwork.
target spell abilities.
The guy with the sneaky cloak
Yeah.
Sneaky
artwork.
So sneaky.
Metal Fatigue. 2 and a white. Instant. Tap all artifacts. What's happening in this art?
Well, there's
I
a
will
very
translate.
sleepy rust elemental, a sleepy clockwork dragon,
Oh, it's
a
specific.
sleepy not dark steel, clockwork beetle, I think is the front one. I don't know what the green one
it's
in
actually
this
like a
is.
dude.
It's actually specific
But-
other cards.
Yeah. But it's just not very
That's almost like an
good.
That's like
Rust,
an unset
whatever.
art.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Was that Rust something or other? The green one in there?
I don't know. It's the rust elemental's the
Or
left
Rust
one up
Elemental,
to
yeah.
the top, and then clockwork dragon's like the one in the background.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
kind of like crooked a bit.
I'm not sure what all like the blue.
That's the Razorfield. No,
Oh,
not the
Is that
Razorfield.
Like, oh,
the
it's like a
Glimmer
thing?
Void.
Ah, okay.
yeah, the like the
makes more sense.
metal planes
Right,
Yeah.
and mirrored. Yeah, it's Crazed Goblin. 1/1
Goblin.
for 1. Tax each turn of Fable.
Get in there.
Fantastic.
They had to tone
Slam
it down.
it.
They were like, Raging Goblin, guys, hold on.
Can't you at least give it haste or something?
This is a functional reprint of Raging Goblin, isn't it?
No,
that one has
Raging Goblin
haste.
is just
Right.
haste and
Right.
doesn't have to attack if it would just die.
Yeah.
Oh,
So-
right, okay.
Yeah, this guy is strictly worse than Mon's Goblin Raiders.
Wow. That's,
Yeah.
That's bad.
Wow.
This is no metal fatigue, but it might be the worst common in the set.
Yeah, wow.
I feel like I would never play that.
No, I don't think you should.
Okay.
It's the Juggernaut! 4 mana, 5/3. Attacks each turn if able. Can't be blocked by walls.
I like it.
Actual
That's
Juggernaut. Yeah.
Actual
That's
original
lame.
Very
Juggernaut.
good,
I don't know why it doesn't have trample, but
just in case. Well, this was in like alpha and beta and stuff. Did trample exist back then?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Which?
Alpha,
was like an
trample
alpha,
in
maybe.
like alpha.
Oh yeah, I think
yeah.
this is like
I don't think
alpha.
trample.
That's a good point. I don't know.
Yeah, and
really
this is
honestly.
in right or wait, no, this is Arabian Nights, wasn't it? Was the first Juggernaut?
I have no idea.
Very old.
We did it.
Did
Yeah.
we do it?
Yeah.
We did
What
it.
do?
We
What
got
do
there.
do?
Ooh.
Did we get there? What we got?
We got there.
Ether Vial. That's got to be the most expensive card we've opened in a while. 1 mana artifact. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may put a charge counter on Ether Vial. This is back when they still used the ligature, the AE. Tap, you may put a creature card with converted mana cost equal to the number of charge counters on Ether Vial from your hand into play. Turns out,
This feels like kind of good.
this is busted.
Yeah.
Feels like a little bit good.
It's
like-
it's not just a little good. It's a
Little
little
bit.
better than a little bit good.
Maybe
I'd
a
say
little
it's
bit broken?
very, very good.
Like kind of
The
broken.
kill con in my first deck was me dreaming of putting a Darksteel Colossus into play with this card. I was like,
Just-
it makes it
I'm
free.
just gonna wait here.
This
Get
is
there
the
eventually.
Sundrop Sculpting Steel deck. I'll never die. It's fine.
Yeah,
Yeah, that seems good.
yeah. This is
Slam that on turn 1.
It's Merfolk All-Star now.
yeah. Merfolk All-Star.
It was
Goblins.
in Goblins, Legacy Goblins for a long time.
It's not even
Yeah.
legendary.
And taxes.
Death and Taxes.
It's not
It's
even
not legendary. You can have
Why
more
isn't
than
it
one with. You
legendary?
can have more than one with different charge numbers.
Why isn't it legendary?
And
Because that would
'Cause
make
this
it
block-
worse.
Why
And
doesn't it cost like 2?
This block's
Or why
busted.
does it have
don't
the sack
know.
to
block.
use it?
this whole block is this whole
this,
block.
this
is
whole
busted.
block was the reason why a
I
lot
hope
of
the
people
next
kind
card's
of left.
Skull Clamp, just so we can be like, because this card exists,
Yes.
Aether
Yeah.
Vial's not that bad.
It's not Skull.
Yeah, okay.
It's
Oh, yeah.
It's not that amazing. It's a Hover Guard Observer. It's a 2 blue for a 3/3 flying drone that can only block creatures with flying. So by not amazing, I mean actually like deeply medium. But yeah,
I like that
it's
it's
like
a
the
drone.
high end of medium. I don't know.
Yeah, creature
Kill
type
giant
drone.
with flying
Yeah.
is a big game.
I really do like that it's creature type drone. That's
Yeah.
pretty sweet.
Yeah.
That's the room.
and the rare, which will guaranteed not be as spicy as Aether Vial, it's
Oh, it
or
actually is.
free
Well,
ball.
I was wrong.
Trinisphere.
Trinisphere, 3 mana artifact. As long as Trinisphere is untapped, just ignore that
Right,
part.
As long as
Each spell that would cost less than 3 mana to play costs 3 mana. So it says, for example, a spell that would cost 1 in black to play now costs 2 in black instead. Surge uses this in his Highlander, is it Lands deck? Surge does filthy things with this in Highlander.
A lot of people do filthy things with this
In
like
many
singletons
formats.
Yeah, on lots.
Yeah,
I think this was the first card to get restricted in Vintage out of this block, wasn't it?
I believe you.
I don't doubt it.
I don't know
I mean,
enough
yeah,
to
you
refute
just
that.
you just go like, land, Sol Ring, Mox, Trinisphere, all your Moxen cost 3 now.
Right.
And it's disgusting.
Yeah.
right,
And then you're ahead because you already have
You
yours
already have yours in play, yeah.
right.
Wow. Yeah.
That does seem kind of
So it
good.
got restricted real quick.
Yeah.
So,
So yeah, you're the Eighth Vial looking between 40 and $50.
Nice.
Trinisphere looking between 10 and 15.
Oh, all right.
It's a good
Wow,
pack.
It's a good pack. Yeah,
thanks,
that's
thanks, Ray
Ray.
Power.
Yeah.
You're the man, right?
that makes up for that Modern Masters pack that was.
Oh
diddled with.
yeah, someone. So we actually spoke with him as Tap Tap Concede follow up. We spoke with Christian at PAX, and he thinks he knows what happened, but we had someone.
I saw that episode.
Yeah, we had someone give us a pack of Modern Masters 2015 in the cardboard pack that we discovered after had been tampered with.
Because it was missing the rare and the foil.
It was missing the rare and the foil and two uncommons,
uncommons,
one or
I
two of the uncommons.
Oh, wow.
And it had the right number of cards, but they were like common and an ad card or whatever. And we know the person who gave it to us, and that's not something that they would do, because
Right.
they also gave us a pack of P3K, for example,
Right.
which was amazing. And so they were like, they were a little annoyed, but they think they know what happened.
People send us tampered packs occasionally, but this wasn't like tampered in a funny way.
Yeah,
To have
exactly.
like all ad cards or
Yeah,
something.
usually they're really
Yeah.
conspicuously done up with masking tape that's been labeled like a totally real and not at all fake pack. So
I like it.
anyway, I think that'll do it for this episode. Thanks, guys, for joining us. It was just
Thanks
fun
for
to
having us.
hang out with a
Yeah.
group of people that we normally don't get to have on the show, and
Yeah.
hopefully we can have you back for a future pre-release at some point.
That'd be awesome.
In
Yeah.
the future, that sentence came together really poorly.
Double
I
up.
forgot to do it at the top of the show, so I want to say shout out to Card Kingdom, who sponsors the show. CardKingdom.com/LRR is our affiliate code, and that lets them know that we sent them to you. Sent you to them. One of these days, I'm going to figure out how to
you're good at
conjugate that
words.
sentence properly. No, you're not. No, I'm not. I'm really not. And we send you to Card Kingdom because we think they're great. It's legitimately where we buy our singles. When we buy them online, they'll ship singles anywhere in the world. Their customer service is great. Their shipping is super fast. It's awesome. And if you tell them Loading Ready Run sent me, button please, they'll give you a little 1-inch button with a different phrase every so often. And the current one is strictly medium, like Hover Guard Observer. Yes,
There you go.
strictly medium. And
I think that is a solid C+.
that's fair.
C+.
C+. And the show is brought to you by you and your kind support of our Patreon at patreon.com/loadingreadyrun. Appreciate it if you check that out. So, Noah, Jeremy, Emma, thank you all for joining us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks for
thank
having
everybody
us.
for watching and listening, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.